G'day guys, ZiggyD here, back with some more Path of Exile hardcore rip analysis. Some juicy rip for you guys today. Let's take a look at the highlight and then I'll break it down with some analysis. Fuck! Okay. Alright then. What the shit? So that was a pretty sudden and unexpected death. I was fighting a pretty hard Essence Goat Shaman that was wrecking some of my zombies, so I retreated to what I thought was a safe distance to resummon some zombies. And it turns out that might have actually been what killed me. So let's take a look here. This map was a multi-projectile map. Nothing else on it. No other monster damage, no crit or anything like that. Just multi-projectiles, and this was an Essence monster here. Now, this guy here has got the Essence of Anger, I believe it is, which shoots out these fireballs. And these fireballs, when they hit you or when the monster hits you, apply a fire debuff that will lower the amount of fire resistance you have. I'm not sure mechanically how this works just yet, whether it's like a penetration effect or whether it's like a curse effect. I would have been safe for fire curse effects. However, this is an elemental weakness map, so if it was a curse effect, it could have brought me down below capped fire res. I had enough to be capped with elemental weakness. I was running an elemental weakness map here, so that wasn't having any actual effect. But if this was a curse that applied on top of that, essentially, like lowered my resistances again, that might have brought me below max fire res. But not sure how much of an actual role that would have played anyway here, because I think I might have died regardless because of what actually ended up happening. So let's just skip forward slightly here, and you can see that this Goatman, just about here, fires out 5 fireballs. You can see there, they normally fire just 1, and with the 4 additional projectiles from the map, he's firing out 5 fireballs over there. So, pretty gnarly at close range, you know, it's shrekking all of my zombies, dealing a lot of elemental damage. I'm just gonna hang back here, resummon some zombies. Now, an interesting thing happens. Now, where you're targeting and what you're doing when you're playing a summoner dictates what your minions do. They're not the brightest. They look to you for directions always. So, as you can see, when we're back here, you know, my minions are fighting. However, I start retreating, I shield charge away, and my minions are like, okay, well, we'll go with you then. You're doing something over there, we'll go with you. Now, what actually happens is I stop here, and I reposition a little bit, and then my minions will, you know, start fighting again. They turn around, start firing some fireballs. However, then I start summoning some zombies up in the top left there to recover my zombie count. And then they're like, okay, well, I guess we need to go over there, because our master is summoning zombies over there, so let's go over in that direction. And then, well, then this happens. Goatman over there, Goatman over here. So this guy is a Shroud Walker, which what they do is they disappear in a puff of smoke, which blinds you, and then they teleport basically on top of your face. Now, this can be nasty at times, particularly when the minion also has multiple projectiles. Because what happens is just about the moment after he teleports on top of me here, he winds up and fires a volley of fireballs, and I'm dead. It's interesting here, this happens often actually. This is kind of like a desync with the servers where you can see that I still have life over here, and yet there's a fucking mirror. There's a resurrections button over there. But I am actually dead here. I did take all of my life. It just takes like a second, like a fraction of a second for the display to catch up, and you can see the next frame there. All of my health is completely gone, and that's because there are multiple hits that are happening almost simultaneously, but not quite. But the server's like, well, he took enough damage to die, but the client's like, let me just check, and alright, okay, cool. So what happens here? And this is a great rip to learn from. It's a great rip all around. I was really happy with this. Like you can tell from my reaction over here, you know, just cracking up laughing, just kind of initially shocked, like what even just happened there, and then just like, okay, good shit. So this is a good rip all around because I didn't really do anything too wrong. Like there's not much I could have done to stop this from happening apart from not fighting this monster, right? Like recognizing, okay, this is a multi-proj Goat Shaman, I'm a summoner, there's a particular risk there. Maybe the anger essence could also lower my resistances further. There's some potential risks there to watch out for. So apart from just not having fought him in the first place and just being like, okay, this is one I should nope out of, and hardcore is about knowing when to pick your battles, so that's something I definitely could have done, is just not fought this guy. However, apart from that, I didn't feel like I did anything too wrong. It's just an interesting death to learn from about a particular danger to watch out for in the future if you're playing a summoner style character, or just in general, like standing near walls and things like that, because here's what actually happens. So he teleports on top of me, and then he fires his fireballs, and what happens is there's a couple minions standing around me, right? So at least 3 of those fireballs go into me and 2 adjacent minions, so I get hit by 3 fireballs worth of damage right there, and that's pretty much what kills me. But you can see when you can see, we're not getting the same frame again because I clicked around. But you can see where I kind of, I'm basically dead before even the wall fireball goes off. Now, even if that hadn't finished me off, I'm close enough to this bit of terrain here that these 2 additional explosions, you can see these little ones here, these 2 balls of explosion here. Even if the 3 that hadn't hit my minions and me hadn't have killed me, those 2 next to the wall would have killed me. Now, what happened earlier was I shield charged away from him to put some distance. So I shield charged over here, and I realized that I was actually too close to the wall. So I shield charged and I ducked over here, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm actually too close to this wall. So I had this in my mind. I had the multi-shotting projectile issues in my mind, but I'm by myself here, so I'm like, okay, I'll just move away from the wall and then I'll be fine. What I hadn't accounted for was the glorious AI of my minions. Instead of them engaging him, they came over to, give me a little pat on the back. I hadn't accounted for that. So you can see I move away from the wall here. I'm like, okay, let's just get off the wall. And on the screen, it looks like that's enough of a gap. Now, that's not enough of a gap for future reference. The walls on these bits of terrain doodads, like the actual collision boxes on them, is a little bit larger than what you'd expect. So give yourself a wide berth when dealing with multiple projectile enemies. Now, if you guys don't know, Fireball has an area of effect. Now, the Fireball projectiles themselves can't shotgun. They can't all hit the same target. But if all of the area of effects go off in close proximity, you can be hit by all of the area effects. And that's ultimately what kills me here. So give yourself a wide berth against Fireball monsters whenever you're near a wall, right? A multi-projectile map, Fireball monsters, or anything that has a secondary explosion, stay clear of walls, stand clear of walls. And a lot of these essence mobs have these sorts of effects as well, so you want to really watch out for that. And this has been in my mind the whole league. I'm like, I'm not going to die to wall shotgunning. Well, I kind of did anyway, but it was in my mind. So I stepped off the wall, but not quite far enough, right? So be aware that terrain doodads do have a larger hitbox than what you'd expect, and you can tell when I actually die. You can see the explosions. I look pretty far away from the wall here. Like, I look like I'm several character spaces away from the wall, and fireballs don't have a big explosion, but you can see when the actual explosions go off on the wall here. You can see those 2 explosions there that, they are within radius of being able to hit me. At least one of them is, maybe both of them. So give yourself a wide berth. And then the second thing is, as a summoner, a lesson for you guys to take away from this, if you're playing a summoner, just be very, very careful of anything that has splash damage in a multiple projectile map and chain maps. Chain maps and multiple projectiles are things you need to be very careful of. I had thought about chain quite a bit on this character and re-rolled over plenty of chain maps for that reason. Wasn't quite giving the same respect to multiple projectile maps, and definitely not the respect that was required to this monster. And that's the result. So, that's the analysis, the takeaway points. Be very careful of walls with enemies that have splash damage, where they can all overlap and hit you. Give yourself a wider berth around terrain doodads that might have larger hitboxes than you expect. And if playing a summoner especially, be very careful of multiple projectile maps and chain maps, because it's gonna get ya. So, pretty enjoyable death. Pretty entertaining. I was really enjoying this SRS Spectre character here. It made it pretty far. I got into the mid-80s or so, and I was pretty happy with this run. I wasn't expecting to die exactly like I did, but it's these unexpected deaths that you take some lessons away from, things to watch out for in hardcore. Nasty combinations of things that I really enjoy about playing hardcore in Path of Exile. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the rip analysis. That's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.